Hey, hi. Hello, welcome. Humor me. Broadway, New York, Broadway, Bumfuck, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're seeing the show. It doesn't really matter what show you're seeing. It doesn't even really matter who's in it. Because the fact of the matter is that shows on Broadway, New York have horrible nights. They bomb. And shows in the middle of Bumfuck rock on. And what matters more is that you're out there and you're trying and you're in for the show, in for the ride. You know, you bought the ticket, you went. I was driving and I was listening to Wicked because, like everyone probably, I've been pretty much nonstop listening since I think my mom took my sister and I to see it in December, because it was right after Christmas when I saw them. And I've been, pretty much listening to Wicked ever since. However, I may have another controversial opinion, and that is that I don't think the movie's all that. I think Cynthia did wonderful. I think Ariana did great. It's not even a critique of, I liked the show. I was lucky enough that I did get to see it once on Broadway. That was the only time I ever got to see Wicked, was that I've seen it on Broadway. And it was incredible. I didn't see it I think I probably saw it 2 rounds after it came out, because it was 2008, 2009, and I believe it came out in 2006. So I saw it, fairly close to when it first came out. But I was like, I was there. I saw it. It was awesome. Changed my life. I didn't realize until we went and saw it in December, and I was reminded of so much of the storyline, because I've gone back and I've always loved the soundtrack and the show, but I've kind of like, I listen to my favorites: Defying Gravity, One Short Day, The Wizard and I listen to my favorites, but I don't often listen to the full thing. So I was listening to when I went and saw it, and I was reminded of the actual full storyline. I realized how much Wicked impacted me. Holy crap. Elphaba, when I saw that in 7th grade. Oh my god, so I must have seen it in 2008. 2007, 2008. Because I was definitely in 7th grade. And so anyways, I'm realizing how much seventh grade me was impacted by the whole story, but specifically Elphaba and her character and her arc and her care and compassion and love for other beings. It just resonated so deeply with me. I have carried that in my soul, and I didn't even realize that it was attributed to Elphaba in that story in my the way I align with her. But I've just reignited that memory, that inner child memory of seeing that and seeing specifically that character and how she works as her whole thing of being green and being someone who's on the outside and who is looked down on and who is ridiculed and who is never given a chance. I felt it. I've always struggled with feeling like I've had a voice, and I've actually been working through. I've always struggled with nightmares, and I haven't been having the nightmares so much lately, but I've been yelling and talking a lot in my sleep, and I feel like it's because I'm actually allowing myself to feel the emotions that I'm feeling. And so anyways, I've a lot of my work through therapy and stuff about my dreams has been a huge reoccurring theme in them is that I don't have a voice. I can't talk. Something's happening. I need help. I know what I need, but I cannot get it out. I can't get the message across. And so that's something I really, really struggle with, is that feeling heard. And so Elphaba, obviously, she wants to do that. Really, she just wants to be a part of something. She wants friends, but she also wants everyone to be included and be a part of that. And everyone to be able to be loved and be themselves and be unique. And I really yeah, I like a lot of us. I really, really was moved by that, and just yeah, I have forever put that kind of narrative like in the back of my mind as like a, I don't know, like a going motivator, I guess, is like that heroic story of Elphaba. And I haven't actually gone through and listened to part two yet, Act Two. I've been sticking to Act One, although I am mostly listening to the Broadway soundtrack because I'm kind of excited to see it in the movie because I don't, like, I remember the story and Fiyero and all of that, but I don't remember the specifics, obviously. Like, that's how I just summed that up. So I'm excited to remember how it ends with Elphaba and Galinda, and if I feel like they end up like being on the same side. Like Galinda does help a little. But yeah, anyway, so I was driving and I was listening to Wicked, and as I've been listening to it more and more, I have a new friend, Paige, who she also is very into it. It's like one of her favorite musicals, and she's a new friend, and so as we've been talking and getting to know each other and the musicals that we've seen, we were texting the other day and we were like sending back and forth all these musicals that we love and blah blah blah, and I started getting really anxious because I was like, oh man, like I've just said, like, I've seen Cabaret and I've seen all of these shows, and I don't want her to think that I've seen them all on Broadway because most of them I've seen at SLOC, which is Schenectady Lights Orchestrating Company in Schenectady, New York, which is like a super small theater. And then I have seen some shows on Broadway, and I've been very lucky, and I was able to see one on West End in London, which was so cool. It was Waitress, which was a show I had been dying to see. And while I did not get to see Todrick Hall in it, he was there and like did a Q&A at the end, and that was really cool because I think he's a very fun artist. But yeah, most of the shows I've seen have been not Broadway, have been not on a big theater, big stage. A lot of them, the other show I saw when I was in England was at a theater in Oxford. It was just like the Oxford City Centre Theater, and it was a youth production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is probably my favorite play. Shakespeare's very dull, but A Midsummer Night's Dream is just like poetically hilarious. And yeah, I just think it's a really funny. Maybe I'll go back and read that again. Maybe I'm gonna put that on my book list because A Midsummer Night's Dream is just a very silly story, and it's funny to think about like it coming out in the times of Shakespeare, you know, the years of yore, because I just don't think about people having a sense of humor sometimes, like back then, which I say back then and I cannot even remember. Shakespeare was what, like, let's see how right I can be. What year was Shakespeare? I feel like he was probably, okay, Shakespeare was probably like 1500s. Born in 1564. Died in 1616. So, I was right. No big deal. But just so you know, in my head, there's like a party going on because I love being right about facts. Anyways, so I was getting really anxious having this conversation with my new friend because I was like, I just name dropped all these cool shows. For whatever reason, Cabaret was the one I was really like, oh my God, which obviously I didn't see it with Alan Cummings. That's the movie. But like I was like, I just can't believe I was very, very self-conscious about feeling like I had lied, and so I corrected it and was like, oh, just so you know, like most of these shows that I either have never actually seen, like Rent, I just know based on the like YouTube pirated version, or like Legally Blonde the musical is another one that I only know that way, but like not Legally Blonde, what's the other one? Mean Girls. I don't even know the musical through a pirated version or anything. I only know the soundtrack. Same with like Beetlejuice. I'm like blanking on so many. Dear Evan Hansen. Hamilton for the longest time. I didn't see that until it was out on Disney Plus. And that one was funny because when I listened to them, just the soundtrack, you kind of make your own story. And I was kind of right. Like I was like, because let's be fair, most of Hamilton is like sung and it's done in the music. So it's pretty easy to follow. But then like there's ones like, what was it? Oh, with Hugh Jackman. Oh my God. Greatest Showman. Oh, wow. It's funny how when I want to talk about something, that's what I blank on. But Greatest Showman, I had never seen, but I knew like every song because of the soundtrack. And I had like totally made it this other story. Like I had built it up in a completely different way. And then when I saw it, I was like, my version was better. I don't even remember what it was. But I just remember being like let down, not by the music, but like I was like, oh, the story was kind of so yeah, so I just was I like corrected that most of these shows that I've seen I have not seen on, their appropriate glamour. And as soon as I had like corrected, I felt so silly because like honestly, of all of the shows, okay, so I've seen quite a few shows. I can easily remember the best shows I've seen. One of them being the cabaret that I saw at SLOC. Another one being that youth's edition of Midsummer Night's Dream. But I have seen some on Broadway. I've been very fortunate. I mean, I grew up in Syracuse, so I was 4 hours away from the city. So I got to go and see Lion King, Wicked. I have an awesome friend, Megan, and she's... she works at Disney right now, like the theme parks, and she's a writer, and we got to go, she like got like, this thing from like a promotion for her book, and we got to go to New York City, and they put us up in like this hotel in Times Square, and we got to go and see On Your Feet, which was the Gloria Estefan musical, like second row. I had never heard of it, barely knew Gloria Estefan, like I knew Conga. Oh my God, that show is unbelievably good. And then we saw Phantom of the Opera, and that again was like the chandelier fell on me. It was unreal. And so like I've been able to like have some really incredible experiences. And I saw Waitress at West End. So I have seen some beautiful plays in person, and I've been able to, be there and be a part of them, at like the place where you go and you get the best version, you get the best one. You're going to see it and it's going to be unreal. I've also seen, there's one show that I've seen on Broadway and that's Lion King. And the Lion King I saw on Broadway, and I have seen it at Bethlehem Middle School in New York. And I liked it better at the middle school because it was so much fun. One, I was there with the kids that I nannied, and it was their first time seeing The Lion King, especially seeing it in a show with people where the costumes are so intricate. And so like seeing them see the magic was just unreal. Everything's better through the eyes of a child. It's just a fact of it's just a fact of life. So that experience, like all around, was probably more memorable and impactful on me than the experience of going to see The Lion King on Broadway. Now that still was an incredible show, and it was amazing. I'm just saying the memory and what I got out of it was not necessarily the same. Or I guess I'm not going to say it wasn't the same. It's not comparable. And yeah, I just was thinking about that, like how many things I have, one, shared and then regretted because I've felt like I've built them up and I've made them seem like I've done something way impressive when it wasn't. Or I don't share because I get too worried that I won't say it the right way, or I'll say it and I'll get misunderstood or something. Because I'm not trying to like brag, like it's the ways that I edit myself and how I speak to others sometimes really impacts me. And it makes me stop and think. And I think I've already said in this video that I was doing a meditation right before this, but it was a meditation. It was just like a refresh and renew meditation. And part of it was like, we're going to breathe. And while we're breathing, like, we are opening up to what's new, and we are closing the chapter behind us, and we're stepping into what's new because we have refreshed. And I'm like sitting here now, and I'm like, oh, that's behind me. Like, I can feel that anxiety behind me. And that's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to come and sit down right now and do this. And I'm so not, in all of the things I've ever done, I'm not a drafter. I'm not really a note taker. I'm like a jotter, like like literally few things. So I'm not like, I don't plan. I'm an intuition. I'm an intuitive person. So yeah, I did that meditation. I was like, oh, so with this new refresh, I'm ready to re-step and voice myself and like do this. I don't know what I'm doing this right now. Like, I think this is episode 5 of Humor Me, and I feel the most comfortable, the least anxious or mindful about what's happening on the screen in front of me, because something I've allowed myself to do with this is that, like, because it's through Substack, it posts like right onto YouTube. So I'm making YouTube videos, and I'm doing them not algorithmically. I'm not putting thumbnail, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the bullshit. I'm just putting it out there, and because that's me. Like, I'm not gonna chop myself up and be like, present myself in the way that I feel like the most people will understand. The way that I feel like most people understand, or most people will accept immediately. I'm going to simply share myself, and then if someone wants to ask questions, whatever, like, you know what I mean? And so anyways, after this meditation, I felt very clear about this and very confident in myself and my voice and my sharing. And especially, I felt free of fear from the little video camera. Hi. I also I felt real cute lately. The sun, well, I say the sun's doing something for me, but it's been like 6 days straight of just rain. Also, I keep getting glimpses of myself, and I could totally be a Lorraine Newman impersonator. Lorraine Newman impersonator. I feel like Weekend Update needs me at the desk. Or I could be a pilot. Really anything with big earphones or earmuffs. I could go work in Antarctica. Ooh, speaking of what I could do, I officially started and opened my LLC, my business. Heartful Healing. It's my Reiki and more, health advocacy, Reiki. I put tarot on my business card because why not? And I also put on it that I'm a psychic. Under my, on my name on my business card, I put like Reiki practitioner, LPN, health advocate, psychic. And I kind of just did that like for myself. But because it's something that I know I am, but I also is something that I don't like saying, because I often feel as soon as I say it, I need to defend it. But I'm refreshed and renewed, and I no longer defend. So I put that right out of my mind. And it's funny because, like, okay, so back to like the shows. I was thinking about like, right, so Wicked. I didn't see it with Idina Menzel or Kristen Chenoweth. I saw it with people whose names I don't even remember. It's been over a year now since the 2024 Met Ball, whatever the fuck it's called. That was kind of my official ick from celebrity culture. So I am saying I can say now I'm a year sober from that world, from staying connected. I'm not saying I don't hear things here or there, or every once in a while I don't like be like, oh my god, did you hear that Katy Perry went to fucking space? Because I don't know why, but she barely went to space, so it shouldn't even be said. but that is something, like, I don't live under a rock. But I no longer, like, I pretty much don't follow any celebs, especially on, like, well, on social media. I don't, right now I'm on social media break, because it's summer. So I only have Blue Sky, because it's for connection, whatever. So I have, like, Blue Sky and Substack. I just don't think, whatever. I don't have to defend. I don't really follow celebrities. I've blocked most of them, and then there's some that I do follow, but then most they're just there, like, in the internet. Like, I just don't, and it's simply because if a celebrity is on that stature, they don't need a follow from me, you know? Like, if there's someone that I really get inspired by, or that, like, I might want to stay updated on, like, what they're going to do, or other things. Maggie Rogers, I really am a fan of her writing. I love, like, getting her newsletter in my email. So, like, she inspires me in more in her art, in ways that I like to absorb that aren't simply just her music. And so I like to get other parts of artists. But artist social media feels very strange to me. It just does. I don't know why. But again, I do know why. Because the Met Ball kind of, like, it was one of those, like, glass shattering moments to me of how much they don't care. I'm sure we all remember, I don't even remember the fuck her name, who said, "Let them all eat cake," in 2024 at the Met Ball. And that was, like, a very, visceral ick of celebrities for me. And so, like, that just, like, when I was on TikTok, like, the celebrity ban 2024 was, like, my favorite thing. I literally, like, on every social media. I mean, I deleted my Facebook, but, like, on Instagram, because I still had that. And when I had TikTok, and, like, yeah, I block pretty much all of them. If I don't know you, don't like you, you're blocked. If I don't know you, don't like you, don't care, and you're a celebrity, you're blocked. If you're a company, you're blocked, pretty much. And then if I like you, I don't follow you. If you inspire me, I follow you. And I don't think an artist cares if they inspire me. So it's not like I used to hang out with someone who would make me think that I had to follow everyone that I liked or knew or met. And that I had to I allowed myself to think that social media and stuff was much more real than it is. Another thing that inspired the title of my Substack and my podcast, Humor Me, is that I'm like, it's not that serious. Life is serious, but it's not. And I am not a serious person in life. Anyways, all of that being said, they don't give a fuck about me. And if a celebrity is at a point where they have celebrity status, they're doing fine. I'm not a thought. And if I get the opportunity to connect with a celebrity or something, or, like, be in the same, whatever, like, in their energetic atmosphere where somehow I could connect with them, I trust that that'll happen, and that it doesn't have to be me desperately reaching out through social media, you know, or, like, they don't need me, I guess is what I'm saying. And I love being inspired by certain ones. Lizzo is one of my favorite musicians of all time. Her 2019 album, "Cause I Love You," really got me through some hard times. And then also through an incredible summer of traveling Europe. So it has, like, this incredible power over me, where it can, one, remind me of pain and my strength, but then also, like, my divine rebirth and abundance. So, like, Lizzo is someone who I think is, like, one of the greatest artists of our time. Maggie Rogers is another one. I could go on and on listing artists that I like. Well, I will say there's something else about celebrities, because I do think it kind of follows with this narrative of, like, how we're talking about, you know, it doesn't matter Broadway New York or Broadway Bumfuck. And it also goes along with the conversation I had with Paige. we were talking about experiences because she's lived here in Northeast Ohio her whole life, pretty much. You're like, an hour radius. And she was saying that she wished she's experienced more. And I was like, well, that's why I love connection, because I feel like we can experience so much through the people we connect with. And I also think connection can be self-defined. So like last spring when I connected to Chapel Roan through her music, I got to live my true Pink Pony Club pop star dream of breaking out of doing what I always thought I had to do and putting on my heels and dancing on the stage. And like it healed me in a way that I am forever thankful to the artist that created Chapel Roan. I know she doesn't like her name to be used, but I also feel weird addressing simply the character when what I'm inspired by is the person who created and was so artistically able to create an entire being, a persona that is real and has affected me this way. Like, I'm so awe-inspired by that piece of the artist's artistry, and also so intimidated and terrified and also kind of deeply in love with. Anyways, that, like, I had this, like, real raw experience of dreams coming true, and I never once performed in front of a crowd. I multiple times performed in front of my crops at around 3 a.m. because I was night gardening, blasting hot to go, terrifying the Amish around, probably, if they were awake. But, like, when you connect in a way to these celebrities and these people, it doesn't matter who they are. Because there's other artists who have moved me unbelievably deeply and also helped me live that pop star dream, like someone named Ava Swan, who is a much smaller artist from Nashville, Tennessee, who wrote a song called Baby Got Spoiled that still to this day, like a year later, is my number one, like, coffee drinking song in the morning, because it's so good and so catchy and so fun. And then I, like, looked into her as an artist, and I love the way that she markets herself as art and what I think is an authentic way, like, that I align with as authenticity. And so it doesn't matter what it is that you're, or who it is, or where it is. Like, what matters is that you're connecting and you're experiencing and you're doing and you're having those moments. Because plus, if you never have them, the good and the bad, like, if you never have the bad, you're never gonna know what to compare to know, like, oh, that was a great show. The cabaret that I saw in Slock was unreal because it was so small. So I don't know if you've ever seen Cabaret, but it's like a show that the audience is sort of involved with. Like, there's tables that are very close to the stage, and, like, the one that I saw, they were on stage. I don't know in Broadway if that's how they do it, but they had, like, tables on stage where people sat and were, like, a part of the set of the cabaret show of Cabaret. And because it was so small and so intimate, I feel like I got so much more out of it than if I had been in this huge theater and had been way up in the rafters and was not, like, I got to see the sweat on nipples. It was beautiful. And it doesn't, like, I used to think it wasn't worth it to go to what used to be called the Syracuse Sky Chiefs game, because it's not a real baseball game. Kels, it's not real. I'm not going to be caught dead at a Sky Chiefs game. It's wannabe baseball. Ugh. Get over yourself, Kels. Again, some of the funnest sporting events I have been to have been not professional. I went to an Albany Devils, I think is the hockey team that, like, when I lived in Albany with some friends. It was so much fun. It was literally me and a group of friends, and then like a Boy Scouts troop. And the hockey players on the team, the adult men who play on that equivalent of third string professional hockey team, they had heart and they gave it their all. And the Albany Devils lost, but they did it while dancing with their hockey sticks, and it was amazing. Same thing with the concerts. Like, so many small town concerts that I've been to. The best show I've ever been to. Oh my God, the best show I've ever been to. I was 16 and, no, 17. And I had a German exchange student with me. She was living with me. She lived with me for like 5 months. And she had invited me to come see this show that she had heard of from someone at school. We were juniors. And so I was like, all right, I'll go. I'll drive us. And it was at a venue called Lost Horizon, which was across the street from a strip club called Paradise Found. So we were at the Lost Horizon. And it was a ska show. So there was a couple bands that started that were smaller but really fun. And I had never heard ska before. So I was like getting into it. But then Suburban Legends came out. And I, to this day, may be one of their biggest diehard fans. They do some of the funnest Disney covers in the world. Disney covers, like, Under the Sea with, like, a trombone. If you ever thought you needed that, Suburban Legends, look them up. But they also just do so much other great music. Like, their own original stuff is so good. But yeah, ska music is, like, basically rock and roll, but also with horns. And I love horns, okay? I love a French horn. I love a tuba. I love a sax. I know that's not a French horn. Or I know that's not a horn. I know that's a woodwind, I think technically. But I love a sax. I love a trombone. I love a trumpet. Love them. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. So it was the funnest thing. And like ska dancing is like its own thing. And I'm sitting so I can't show you, but you should Google it. Look it up right now. And I ska danced so hard in that show that I passed out because I was sweating so profusely because I was rocking so fucking hard. And yeah, it was like probably the most fun I've ever had at a concert still to this day. And that was 14 years ago. And I never would have gone if like, yeah, my exchange student had just been like, oh, so-and-so invited me and you want to come? And I was like, I guess so. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I've seen AC/DC. And that was shit. That was shit. Okay? It's not about the value. It's about the vibes. Restaurants, too. I am so sick of having to try a restaurant because it's so good. Food is just sometimes just supposed to be food. Like, I just want to enjoy it. I don't always need everything to be so decadent and like amazing and best meal I've ever had. You know? I love a nice 3-star meal. Run of the mill. Bangin' burger. Bangin' black bean burger. Even better. Yeah. Hell, even places to live. I lived in San Diego. I'm from New York. I'm in love with Northeast Ohio. What? Yeah, I am. I love it so much that I'm fucking gonna be buried here where I live and am working to try and keep it safe. Which is another thing. Yeah, guys, I started a business and I'm organizing. I'm helping to organize a protest on June 14th. And that is a whole nother conversation for another time. I won't even get into that. You've already listened to me for far long enough, I'm sure. But that's just to say that you can do it, whatever it is that you want to do or think you want to do, whatever you're telling yourself that you can't do, you can do it. Because I've told myself my whole life that I would never post a YouTube video or have a podcast or talk like this with my voice. But I'm here and I'm doing it. And I never thought I'd be organizing and I could say that I'm doing that, but I can now. In fact, I remember Upstream, which is a podcast I really like, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, posted that they were looking for people to interview about organizing, specifically like political and like community action organizing. And I remember responding to it and just saying like, hey, it's not me right now, but in 5 years, all I want is to be able to like see something like this and be like, hey, I would love to have a conversation. And yeah, now I'm dipping my toe in, and it feels really cool to be a part of something and to do something. So if you're out there and you're listening, just keep going, keep moving, and the next time someone asks you if you want to do it, just say yes. Let's live a little yes, man. The world is a dumpster shit fire. We can say yes. What the fuck? Yeah, why not? I'll go see a show in Broadway, Bumfuck. Alright. Be good. Be kind. Be gentle. Be love. Bye.